Welcome back, Raider Nation. Before we get into the video, I first want to say thank you guys so much for the recent support. We're a small channel trying to grow and share our passion with as many of you guys out there as possible. So if you do happen to enjoy our content, please like the video, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this page. Let's get into it.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Raider Nation, Jayden Daniels to the Las Vegas Raiders is heating up. And the reason I say this is because there's been a lot of buzz out there recently that said that Daniels does not want to go to Washington. Check out this clip courtesy of ESPN.
The Commanders obviously interested in the guy behind us in Jayden Daniels. But some questions this week have started to surface about how interested Daniels might be in Washington. Because remember, it's a two-way street. What are you hearing?
Yeah, it does feel like that there is some smoke here. That's sort of undeniable at this point. I spoke to somebody who's involved in Daniels' process who does openly wonder, is Daniels looking at his options right now? Now, he has had interest in playing for the Raiders. That is real.
Sure.
Staying on the West Coast, reuniting with Antonio Pierce from the Arizona State days.
So with that, I think it's pretty well known that Daniels does not want to go to Washington. You know, there was also a report out there that said that Daniels was scheduled to have a meeting with the Commanders brass in D.C., and he was surprised when he saw three other quarterback prospects, namely Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, and Drake May, also scheduled to meet with them. And, you know, the fact that the Commanders are still interested in other quarterbacks other than him really angered his camp and Jayden Daniels himself. And also his agent was out there on Twitter liking tweets about him potentially forcing his way out of Washington. So I think with the current news that's come to light, I think the Commanders would have a really hard time selecting Daniels at number 2. And as it stands right now, I think they're going to take Drake May and pass up on Jayden Daniels and let him fall to number 3, which, as we know, the New England Patriots hold the number 3 overall pick. And their GM, Elliott Wolf, as Rashawn noted on the last video, has said that they're interested in trading out of that spot at number 3. So I think with that said, I think the question really becomes, should the Raiders mortgage the future for Jayden Daniels? Because moving up from 13 to number 3 overall would cost you north of 2 first-round picks. We saw that with the Niners trade a few years ago for Trey Lance. So, you know, there's no guarantee that Daniels becomes that Lamar Jackson type player. You know, he could just become another bust, Jamarcus Russell out of LSU. We have no clue. You know, in the NFL, traditionally only 30% of these quarterback prospects in the first round hit. 70% fail and 30% hit. So there's never a guarantee that your guy is going to pan out in the NFL. And I think this is the dilemma that's going on in the Raiders draft room currently. You know, we've heard recent reports that Antonio Pierce wants to swing for the fences and go up and get his guy, Jayden Daniels, who he had a connection with at ASU, whereas Tom Telesco wants to play it more conservative and stick with the guys we have on the roster, including Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. So with that dilemma currently going on, I think it's going to be very interesting to see where the Raiders go from here. You know, it seems like Antonio Pierce doesn't have as long of a leash as Tom Telesco. You know, it was probably a 1 or 2 year deal that he signed with Mark Davis to be the head coach. So if we don't win right away, I think it's going to be very challenging for us to keep Antonio Pierce for the long term. You know, he's on a win now sort of mindset right now, whereas Tom Telesco, being the GMs traditionally have a longer leash with the owner. So he doesn't want to mortgage the future. It seems like he wants to stick with Aiden O'Connell. You know, we saw what Aiden O'Connell could do close up. You know, Aiden O'Connell basically got him fired out of San Diego, dropping 63 points on him. Whereas AP has seen what Jayden Daniels can do close up, and he wants that dual threat ability. He's consistently mentioned that, you know, that dual threat ability is the hardest thing for a defense to guard. And that was from his experience playing in the NFL. And, you know, as we know, Aiden O'Connell doesn't have that dual threat ability. You know, he's an elite arm, but he doesn't have the dual threat ability of a guy like Jayden Daniels or anyone for that matter. So the matter of fact is, if the Raiders want to be serious about winning a Super Bowl, you have to have a franchise quarterback. We have the defense. I would say we have a top five defense. We had a top five defense last year, and we've only added to that. We've added guys like Christian Wilkins, and we're probably going to add guys to the draft, and we're only going to get better on that defensive side of the ball. And on offense, we have all the pieces. We have an elite wide receiver core. We have a developing offensive line, a young stud tight end in Michael Mayer, and another young stud at running back in Zamir White. So we have all the pieces on offense and on defense. The only thing that's really missing is a franchise quarterback. Whether that's Aiden O'Connell to take that next step and develop into that franchise guy, or it's a guy like Jayden Daniels you can go out and draft. So we have a lot of options, Raider Nation. We've made videos on Daniels in the past on this channel, and I'll admit those are more hypothetical scenarios or what we dream of happening. But now Daniels for the Raiders is really coming into focus, and the Raiders could make this move. It's very conceivable that we have the chance to make this move and we pull the trigger for it because everything is stacking into place for Daniels to be there at number 3, like I mentioned, and for the Raiders to move up for him. So it's going to be interesting what we do, Raider Nation. We could go get Jayden Daniels. We could stay pat at 13 and snag Michael Penix, which we're going to have more videos coming out about Penix, or we draft an O-lineman or a corner. That's going to be the dilemma that we face. And that's what probably Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco are discussing right now. And yeah, let us know down below what you guys think the Raiders should do in the NFL draft. Raider Nation, we really appreciate the support on our last few videos. We're a very small channel and we're trying to grow and reach as many of you guys and share our passion with as many of you guys as possible out there. So please continue liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment down below and sharing this page with your friends. Those 4 things mean a lot to us on this channel, Raider Nation. And yeah, Silver and Black Attack, Jahan signing off. Thank you guys.